Clear stroke rolls without failure. Achieving success through Stoic philosophy. The storm was raging. A skilled rower sat on his bench, hands tightly gripping the oars, his gaze focused on the water churning ahead. Every stroke he pulled was intentional, calculated. The weight of the oar felt heavy, his muscles aching, but he remained undeterred. He knew he would not stop until he reached his destination, no matter the tempests that came his way. For him, the journey wasn't just about strength or skill, but discipline of the mind, one founded on Stoic philosophy. For this rower, every stroke was a small battle won, a triumph over doubt, fatigue, and fear. Each pull was a step toward mastering himself, toward accepting what he couldn't control, the roiling waves, the crashing wind, and focusing only on his own power, his strokes, his focus. He wasn't driven by the desire to win over nature, but to understand it, to endure it, to see his way through without resistance or complaint. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The rower had taken these words to heart. It wasn't the fury of the storm he wished to change, but his own responses to it. By maintaining clarity, composure, and control over his reactions, he sought a kind of victory that transcended the mere act of rowing. He wanted to triumph over himself, to prove that his mind was a fortress impervious to the threats outside. As the rower's arms strained with each pull, memories of past trials surfaced. He recalled times when he had fallen short, when he had doubted his path, and when his failures had seemed overwhelming. These experiences had taught him invaluable lessons on resilience, acceptance, and growth. He recognized, looking back, that every failure was not an end, but a part of the journey. Each stumble had brought with it knowledge, patience, and insight. The essence of Stoicism lay not in avoiding failure, but in accepting it, learning from it, and ultimately, transcending it. Failure, he realized, was simply feedback. It was life's way of showing him what worked and what didn't. With this understanding, he no longer feared failing. Instead, he viewed it as an opportunity to improve, a stepping stone toward a better version of himself. The obstacle in the path becomes the path, he reminded himself, echoing Marcus Aurelius's wisdom. The storm was simply a part of the journey, a necessary challenge to test his mettle, to sharpen his focus, and to deepen his resolve. As the waves grew higher, the rower's focus grew sharper. He felt the tug of the water against his oar, the resistance of the current, and the push of the wind, yet his mind remained steady. He repeated the mantra of Stoicism, amor fati, the love of one's fate. The storm, the hardships, the ache in his muscles were all parts of his journey. He loved them not in spite of their difficulty, but because of it. They were the trials that would forge him, and he welcomed them with open arms. The rower continued his journey, one stroke at a time. His mind was clear, his heart calm, and his spirit unbreakable. Every stroke, every drop of sweat, and every breath became a testament to his resilience. He wasn't concerned with reaching the shore immediately or avoiding discomfort. Instead, he saw value in each moment, understanding that the journey itself was as important as the destination. By embracing his circumstances without complaint, by accepting his limits and focusing on his efforts, he was already a success. When the storm finally subsided, the rower found himself exhausted but at peace. The shore was in sight, a distant line across the horizon, yet he felt no rush to reach it. He was content in the journey, in the quiet mastery he had achieved over himself. Stoic philosophy had taught him that true success lies not in the absence of struggle, but in facing it with strength and wisdom. He had learned to trust the process, to see value in each failure, and to meet each challenge with a heart full of acceptance. For him, the journey was not about conquering the sea, but about mastering himself. And in that, he had already succeeded.